Ma, good morning. Welcome back for today's session. So in the last class we learned about what is a tactic. What is a tactic, ma? Tactic is the one which need changes or control. Okay, so by which we can get the better performance or output of our architecture. If we do some tactics, if you take some precautions in advance before starting your architecture or before implementing your architecture fully, then we can get your output perfectly without any problem. Okay, so if that is the case, it is called as a tactic or system change, you can say. So we can do tactics in any quality attributes, availability, modifiability, whatever tactics we are going to use, we can do lot of changes or tactics in our quality attributes. So in the last class we learned about the introduction of the availability tactics, right? So in that we have three things we have to be learned for how to detect your fault, how to recover from your fault, and how to prevent the fault. Okay, so how many types of fault detection methods? We have three methods. One is a ping, echo, heartbeat, or exceptions. What is a ping or echo, whenever we are going to sending some signal, whenever it is came back echo, then we can call it as a ping echo. Okay, so we learned in the last class. Next one is a heartbeat. One is gone whenever heartbeat is there, whenever a person is alive, we can listen that alive, okay, by using the some sound coming from the heartbeat. If that is so, we can say it is working. If it is not getting any voice or heartbeat from any person or any system, means there is no output from any component, means we can conclude that there is no working of this component, means automatically it is a failure. If that is the case, we can detect that the system has been failed. Okay, so we learned about the heartbeat in the last class, right? And the exceptions, we can make some exceptions based upon the conditions or circumstance or any situations or any events. We can set some exceptions. If something happen, the other thing have to be evoked automatically, right? If that is the case, this is called as a exceptions, which we use a lot in our programming methodologies, right? Now it is the time to learn about the fault recovery, how to recover a fault, how to know. We know about fault detection, right? After detection, we have to recover our data so that the functionality will not interrupt in the midway of this processing, right? So if that is the case, we have some methods, Fault recovery consists of preparing for recovery and making the system repair. Some preparation and repair tactics are follows. We have 7 tactics too, in this: voting, active redundancy, passive redundancy, spare, shadow operation, state synchronization, and final checkpoint. I repeat: one is voting, active redundancy, passive redundancy, spare, shadow operation, state synchronization, and checkpoint rollback. So these are the some of the techniques we have to be remember for fault recovery. See, we will see one by one. The first one is voting. So recovery is a one by which we can get a healthy component in which all data is available. All data is available so that it can be used for our recovery process. If that is the case, it is called as a recovery concept, right? So voting is a one in which we are going to give some input to some components. Okay, we are going to give some input to the component. We used to get some output also. So all these outputs is going to be sending to the voting system. In that voting system, they are selecting one of the component which have correct output. In the remaining component which we didn't get any perfect output, they are discarded. So the one which contains a perfect output is going to be selected, means that component have the data, actual data. The data is copied to remaining components which are fault in nature, right? So this is happening in the voting concept. Is processes running on the redundant processor. So availability, see, after failure, how we can recover, whenever multiple copies are maintained, then only we can recollect or regain our data. If only single component is maintained and it is failed, and we detected that it is failed, how can you recover from that? It is not possible, right? So whenever a component has been failed and multiple components are redundant, so that we can recover, right? So processes running on redundant process each take equivalent input. I repeat, processor running on the redundant processor. Redundant processors means which have the same type of data, which have same data. each take equivalent input and compute a single output value that is sent to the voter. What the voter will do? If the voter detects deviant behavior from a single processor, it fails it. Means any processor which is deviated from the normal operation, it will fail it. Remaining thing we can use. The voting algorithm can be a majority rules. So for example, lot people are using has been sent the same output. We luckily feeling that yeah, the same output has been came, so all other components are working. So we can select any component to copy the data, right? Or preferred component. So you can prefer only one component. That is up to you. Which one you going to be select as a preferred component is up to you, or some other algorithm, right? So this method is used to correct faulty operation of algorithm or failure of a processor, and is often used in control systems. Yes, the voting method can be used. If all the processor utilize the same algorithms, the redundancy detects only a processor fault, but not an algorithm fault. See, for example, every redundant is going to sending the same fault, means what we can say, it is not fault of the component which have the data, but it is a problem with the algorithm you have been set up to get that output. That if algorithm is wrong, means all are performing the same output, giving the same output whoever the algorithm has, right? So in that case we have to check your algorithm and we have to re-execute your algorithm, right? Now the next one, the second method is active redundancy or hot restart. So in this, all redundant components respond to events in parallel. All redundant components respond to events in parallel. Okay, so all are giving the output same, consequently they are in the same state. Obviously the response from only one component is used. Any component you want to prefer, like previously, you can use that. The response from only one component is used, usually first to respond, and the rest are discarded. We have to prefer only one thing to recover your data, right? So when a fault occurs, the downtime of a system using this tactic usually milliseconds only. Down because remaining components are executing the data and we can collect that output from them. So automatically the system is able to recover from its fault in a milliseconds of time. Since the backup is current and the only time to recover is a switching time only, because we can remove the faulty component from a normal operation, and whoever is working or healthy, we can connect that request to the component, healthy component, right? So active redundancy is often used in a where client server configuration. Client server configuration means whenever the response have to be get for any client from the server, automatically the server failed. If multiple servers are available, automatically we can correct that second server instead of the first, because the first has been failed, right? Next one, third one is a passive redundancy or warm restart, dual redundancy or triple redundancy. See, what is happening is here only one component is maintained as a main component from which we can recover our data. Okay, it is not going to be failure. It is we have to take care of to not to fail that component. Okay, see what happens here. One component, that is the primary response to events and informs other components of state updates they must take. So if there is any changes, they have to notify by only one and only component. It is a responsible one. See, in the previous thing, active redundancy, all the components are in active and all are responding at any time. Okay, all are responding at any point of time. So if one is not responding, it is okay for us. But in this, what is happening, one and only one is we are taking one and only one thing is we are taking as an active component, and we have to check all the transactions from that only. The remaining are standby zone. So it means the changes has been happen or any fault occurs is not going to be modify the primary data. We have to take care of that, right? If there is anything changes by any other computers, the primary well will notify the same to standby computers. So when a fault occurs, the system must first ensure that the backup state is sufficiently fresh before resuming service. Yes, it is a main thing we have to remember here is when a fault occurs, the system must ensure that the backup state is sufficiently fresh. Means because it is only the primary one and only one, we have to take care of that data is going to be always fresh one, because this fresh data is going to be communicating or sending the same to other systems, right, before resuming our services. So this approach is also used in the control systems Control system means automatically which is able to control all other devices. In that case, the thing which is controlling the other devices should be perfect, right? Often when the input come over communication channels or from sensors, have to be switched from primary to the backup on failure. Okay now. So spare, the spare is of an extra one. See, in the previous one we got one primary, but we have here two primaries, two primary things. If one fails, we can correct the same from the second one also. Means whatever transaction they are making, changing, doing, accessing, all the transactions or log is going to maintain in both systems parallelly. Okay, both transactions is going to be verified and modified parallelly. A standby spare computing platform is configured to replace many different failed components. What is? It must be rebooted to the appropriate software configuration and have its state initialized when a failure occurs. So making a checkpoint, if any failure occurred in the primary one, the secondary one we have to check where it is failed, from where I have to boot up from new thing. Okay. So making a checkpoint of the system state to a persistent device periodically and logging all state changes to a persistent device allows for a spare to be set to the appropriate state. Yeah, whatever it said, it's a lengthy paragraph. This is often used as a standby client workstations where the user can move from when a failure occurs. Yes. Next one is shadow operation. So it's a different one. See, shadow operation means a previously failed component may be run in shadow mode for a short time to make sure that it mimics the behavior of a working component. Means recovery means here whenever the component has been failed, okay, and it is have to be recovered. It is going to be putting some observation. It is going to be recollect, and it is operating in normal way. Okay, if that is the case, it is called as a shadow operation, right? And it is going to be recollecting again. It is going to be restoring again. That mimics the behavior of a working components before restoring it to service. Okay, state synchronization means verifying whether it is operating same or not with the clock or with any other component. If they are deviating from the normal operation from the clock or other components, means we have to think about that and we have to resynchronize that one, right? The passive and active redundancy tactics require the component being restored to have its state updated before it's returned to service. Yes, means we have to recheck that. Synchronization means running parallelly, same. See, I am talking, you are listening. It is synchronization. If I am talking, you are not listening, it is not synchronization. So we have to check that all the passive and the active redundancy tactics have to be checked, so that whenever the recovery is going to be start, it should be synchronizing state only. The updating approach will depend upon the downtime that can be sustained. So if the downtime is more, we can't synchronize. If the downtime is less, means what is the downtime is the time to recover your fault, the time to set the component to react to or restart their execution, the size of. So what is downtime is going to be depend upon the size of the update and number of measures required for the update. If it is more, the time will be more, automatically the synchronization will be tough. A single message containing the state is preferable if possible, because if you want to send any message and we have to get the reply, means it will take more time. Okay, it will take more time whenever the communication is long and bandwidth is less. But if you are preferring the single message with a more bandwidth, means we will get the output in a very short period, right? If that is the case, our communication and downtime will be very less time, right? So try to prefer a single message to recover, to verify your fault system. Checkpoint or rollback, it is a most preferable one in anything. See, whenever a fault occurs, a checkpoint will be there. Checkpoint means it will save the transactions we have been made in every 5 minutes of time. For example, we used to update our register every week. My checkpoint is on Saturday, that is a weekend. Okay, so that if anybody asks the questions on Monday, I can update them up to Saturday only, right? I don't know about the Monday morning because my checkpoint is on Saturday only, right? So like that, we need to set some checkpoints, but in our computers it will not take more time like weeks to checkpoint. It will take fraction of minutes. In every minute they used to refresh their data, they used to check up the failure nodes, they used to recover from that. Okay, A checkpoint is a recording of a consistent state created either periodically or in a response to specific events, right? Sometimes a system fails in an unusual manner with a detectably inconsistent state. If that is the case, we have to get back and restore that data. In this state, the system should be restored using the previous checkpoint of a consistent state, and a log of the transaction that occurs in the snapshot was taken. We have been changed, right? We have been updated the register, right? So there is no problem in that. Yeah, and these are the methods we can prefer for the fault recovery. Coming to the fault prevention, what is the prevention? We have to be in a precautionary mode so that the fault will not occur. If that is the case, it is called as a fault prevention, right? So the following are some fault prevention tactics. Three techniques we have: removal from the service, transactions, and process monitor. Removal from the services means the one which is giving a faulty environment. We have to remove that. See, we will see. This tactic removes a component of a system from operation to undergo some activities to prevent unanticipated failures. If it is giving more number of failures and it is deviating from the normal operation, we have to be check in advance and we have to remove from the system. One example is rebooting a component to prevent memory leaks from causing a failure. Yes, see, whenever the system has been stuck for 2 minutes, what will do automatically? We will not go with the same operation. We will not wait for that. So we got that we have a sense that yes, some problem has been occurred in the system. So what we can do? We have to be reboot our computer so that we can get the problem solved, right? So if this removal from service is automatic, an architectural strategy can be designed to support it. It should be automatic only. It should not be manual. Say failure occurred, and we have to recover. Then we can't do any prevention there. So this recovery should be, or removal should be, automatic. See, any deviation from the normal operation means we have to remove from that automatically. If it is a manual, the system must be designed to support it. Next one, transactions. A transaction is a bundling of several sequential steps. So all the transactions will take care of all the verifying or detection of the faulty operations, right? So it is also checking any deviation from the normal operation means the transaction have to be a rollback or we have to be remove that we can do. Transactions are used to prevent any data from being affected if one step in a process fails, and also to prevent collisions among several simultaneous threads accessing the same data. Okay. And finally, process monitor. A person or program or not program or component is going to be allotting to monitor any changes or any deviation from normal operation. He will notify if any changes occurred. See this. Once a fault in a process has been detected, a monitoring process can delete the non-performing processes and create a new instance of it. Initialize it to some appropriate state as in the spade tactics. Okay, spade tactics means we have a one more thing, we have to recollect data or recover from that data. If that is the case, automatically we can prevent from a fault. Okay, so this is about the availability tactics. I thought to start modified tactics also, but I will start in the next class. Okay, because it will take a lengthy video which may not be convenient to you, right? So till then, have a nice day. Bye.